Hello and welcome to Getaway Day. My name is Gautam, his name is Mason, and today we are talking about the first week of the Major League Baseball season for 2024. What's going on, Mason?
Not a whole lot. So by the time this comes out on Thursday, I will be sitting in my seat at Busch Stadium for Cardinals opening day.
Ooh,
This
very
will be my
exciting.
third year in a row of
And I
going.
didn't get an invite once again.
This one was not me that set it up, but I'll get you in on next time if you want to come next year. You just
All
got to
right.
let us know now because this is a tradition we have. So I've got
I
to.
let you know last year. I didn't get invited.
Well, that's
That's
fair.
all I'm saying.
You knew I was
But
going. You should have said, "Hey, get me a ticket."
I did last year.
Yeah, but that not this year.
But then you already had the tickets. It was too late.
I don't know that we did already have the tickets. I think we were looking for tickets, weren't we?
Well, I don't know.
Either way,
Anyway.
we'll go to plenty of games. We still have a baseball trip to talk about for this year, but I do actually have a little bit of cleanup from last week that I need to do since you're back today. Since you were not here for the the season is starting opening day episode, give me just like a brief 1 minute thing about just generally how you think the season is gonna go. It could be general vibes of the season, how teams are gonna do. I don't care, but that was how we ended the episode last week, and I just kind of wanted to get your take.
Okay. I think that this season is going to be, once again, just as it has been the last few seasons, it's really about the young players. There's so many young players that are breaking in with their teams. There's a lot of good prospects that are coming through the minor leagues, and we just see that it's becoming more and more of a younger players game as these kind of older guys become like they get aged out like faster and faster, and we see so many teams that are now relying on younger pitchers, younger hitters, whatever it may be, and I think that's going to continue. And I think a team, some a few teams that like are not, they don't have a lot of household names, but they have a lot of like young player talent are going to be the ones that have really surprising good seasons. I don't know exactly which teams those are. Maybe it's like the Brewers, or maybe it's the Royals, for example. Like teams that don't have star players that everyone knows who they are going to emerge this
So
season.
you're telling me there's a chance that the Nationals could be surprising?
I'm going to tell you that I do not believe in the Nationals, but that would be
Okay,
cool.
so the other 29 teams, anyone who fits that mold, yes, but Nationals,
Not the
no.
Nationals.
Okay,
No.
cool. Thank you
I think
for
they're a little while away, but
gotcha. Thank you for clarifying. All right, now we can go back to our regularly scheduled programming, but I just kind of wanted to catch up on that because I think mine was that it was going to be a little bit of a kind of going back to your kind of, oh, how did I phrase it? Like your old guard teams, like the big historic teams, the ones who have kind of been a little bit disappointing the last couple seasons, I think are going to make a bit of a resurgence.
I
Um,
remember that was my prediction, like for the new year. I'm pretty sure.
oh, maybe it
But
was.
yeah,
I don't know what I said last week then.
I couldn't tell you. I haven't listened to the episodes, but I got to do that soon.
Wow, not even listening to your own pod when you're not on it?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Anyways, so we're past previews for the season. We're ready to talk about some real baseball that happened over the weekend and into this week. Um, it's just so good to be back. You know, we've got all kinds of stuff going on. We got the stars out. We got terrible injuries already striking down teams. We've got rookie debuts. We've got already tempers flaring. We've got suspensions being handed out.
We've got
Um,
no-nos.
we got no-nos 5 games into the season. It's just a
By guys
great
you've never
time.
heard of.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's just fantastic stuff that we've been missing for months here. So we're gonna go through a lot today, I think, and hopefully we have some fun with it. So
Yeah,
we got to
and I
start.
guess
Go ahead.
because we're going through so much and we only have so much brain power at one time, there will not be an episode on Monday of this week. Just a heads up. Let you know that now.
Yep. Yep.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So we're going to start with the Dodgers because the Dodgers are, I think, the best team in baseball. I don't think that's like a huge controversial statement. I know you can make the case for the Braves, but the Dodgers are, yes,
I think it's the Yankees.
I think it's the Yankees.
They're going for 162 and 0.
Yeah, fair point. But the Dodgers, they have just looked every bit as good as the hype said that they would be this season. Starting with their studs with Betts, Otani, and Freeman. Those guys are all doing exactly what we thought they would do, and that's cool. Like Mookie Betts is leading just about every offensive category at this point. I think he has a 1800 OPS as we sit here recording on Tuesday. He leads the league in home runs with 4. He leads the league in walks.
While it is a very, very small sample size of only 33 plate appearances, he is 332% better than the average major leaguer. That is about 100 WRC plus higher than Barry Bonds, it's about 100 higher than Barry Bonds' highest season.
Yeah. So yeah, but the big thing with Mookie is that he's not just doing it in one position. He's been playing both shortstop and second base, which are not, positions that he's played a whole lot of at the major league level. What do you think about the Dodgers' use of him at multiple positions? Do you think that could be detrimental, or does it not matter?
From which standpoint?
From a standpoint of like
from a Mookie Betts standpoint, or from
I'll let you take it however you'd like.
I think as far as the player Mookie Betts is concerned, no, not a problem. This guy is a generational talent. Like, there's just some guys who, no matter what situation you put them in on a ball field, they are going to succeed. There's a lot of guys that you move them position to position mid-year, it could go horribly awry. But he has shown not just like an affinity for different positions when he's just been asked to do it. He has volunteered to take new roles for his team, knowing that he is going to be able to do it without taking a hit offensively or defensively. Like, he's not going to put himself in a position to fail because he's trying to do what's best for his team. He's such a generational talent. He can do it. Where I think it could maybe ruffle some feathers, I guess, is with some of the other guys in the clubhouse as far as their relationship with their manager. Because Mookie already in 7 games has played 6 games at shortstop, and then he's moved over to second base a couple times, and then he did start 1 game at second, I believe, as well. So that has guys like Gavin Lux not in the lineup every day. And Gavin Lux was coming into the offseason like the starting shortstop. Then all of a sudden he's been relegated to second, and now all of a sudden he's a platoon guy. And it's like, it seems like they're losing faith in him. And so they're just trying to get him off the field. Not a lot, but they're trying to pick and choose when they use him. And so they're just having Mookie Betts play wherever they need at that point in time, having Kike or Chris Taylor kind of fill in the gaps here and there as well. So I think until they find like a solid, steady option at second, it does kind of feel like maybe this is going to be taking a hit on like Gavin Lux's confidence and his relationship with Dave Roberts and Andrew Friedman potentially. But I don't think that's their biggest concern. I think their biggest concern is how do we put the best team on the field and win a bunch of games. And so far they're doing it right. Yeah,
I don't think Lux hardly matters with this team. He's basically their 9 hitter. They've got 7 like amazing hitters. 1 through 7 is like murderer's row. We got Teoscar Hernandez batting 7th, and that's incredible. What I was thinking with Betts though is we've never seen a player of this caliber just be moved around like a utility man. That this is kind of unprecedented. I know Ben Zobrist had that insane season with the Rays where he played all over and put up like a 6 or 7 WAR season, but that's what Betts is going to do here if he switches between positions. But I wonder if it has any impact on injury. I have no way of saying that it does, but it's just something that I'm thinking like not being in one place. I don't know if that's going to mess with him in some way.
The only way I could see it potentially messing with him is if he's not as comfortable with some of the moves he has to make at the shortstop or second base position, and ends up just having some kind of a freak accident. But I don't think from like an agility standpoint or anything like that, I don't think that's going to be that big a deal. I mean, he kind of trains for that.
That's true, yeah, but
So
maybe
I
I'm
think it's
thinking
just
like
maybe the repetitions at each
yeah,
specific.
exactly, and he's had very few reps at shortstop in his career. He didn't really play that much in the minors even. So you go way back to like high school when he was a shortstop,
Yeah.
and so I don't know, just thoughts at this point. I mean, I'm enjoying the Dodgers every day because they're the most fun team to watch. Like
I didn't enjoy them for 4 days.
You can enjoy them now.
I can enjoy them now, but I did not for 4 days.
That is very fair. Yeah, it's tough. Um, let's move on to another superstar in Juan Soto, who played his first series with the New York Yankees, and he was firing on all cylinders. Like the guy is in midseason form. I can say opening day had an incredible throw in the ninth inning of a game to basically hold the lead for the Yankees.
Is it a hot take for me to say that I think he accumulated more D-WAR on that one throw than he has the entire rest of his career?
I think that's probably harsh, but it's a
probably
fair
like
point.
the only positive D-WAR play he's ever had.
I don't know. I feel like he gets a unfair rap. He's obviously not shown that he is an elite defender or anything, but I think for most of the time, or at least early in his career, I think he was average. Then he had a couple rough seasons, but now it sounds like the guy's really dedicated himself to improving himself as a defensive player. He worked out with Jackie Bradley Jr. in the offseason to work on defense specifically.
I was going to say, that's a good guy to talk to if you want defense.
Yeah, a guy with some gold gloves in center field, like that's the right guy to talk to. And specifically, they were talking about throwing, which I thought was pretty interesting because I don't know, like you don't really think that much about outfielders throwing and stuff, but you have to practice that. And
should we set Eloy Jimenez up with Jackie Bradley Jr.?
Can we set that man up with like a enclosed box where he doesn't injure himself?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he's injured again.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Adductor strain. So that's rough. But Soto and the Yankees. So Yankees could not really have gotten off to a better start. They're now 5-0 on Tuesday here. They swept the Astros over the weekend. They're bitter rivals, and I don't know, like good vibes with the Yankees right now, even after the terrible news about Garrett Cole.
Yeah, which the part that's surprising me about the Yankees is more that the rotation is starting out as hot as it is. Like it seemed like the hitting, I wasn't really surprised to see that they were mashing. Like
they have a great offense, yeah.
Yeah. Like Soto, for instance, 1 for 5, then 3 for 5, 2 for 5, 3 for 5. He finally went 0 for yesterday on Monday. Like that's the first time this season that he has not had a hit. He's hitting 450 already with a home run. Aaron Judge is not too far behind him. Plus,
Aaron Judge hasn't done a whole lot, right? So that was the thing that surprised me is that Judge has gotten off to a slow start, and the rest of the offense has actually carried him. Obviously, Soto's been incredible.
Volpe's been really good so far. Oswaldo Cabrera was out of his mind in the first series after an absolutely abysmal spring training. Not so great of a year last year. But yeah, so I'm very, very impressed with the Yankees so far. It really does feel like if they can kind of keep it together the next couple turns through the rotation and kind of prove that this is a solidified rotation, even with Garrett Cole on the bench for a while, I do feel a lot more confident in saying that this is a Yankees team that is kind of back to where people expect them to be.
Definitely, yeah. The Angels and the Orioles played in the opening series, and Mike Trout hit the first home run of the season against Corbin Burns in Corbin Burns' first start with the Orioles
On North American soil.
on North
Asterisk.
American soil. Sorry, yeah. So that was like a cool moment for me. I was watching the game, and yeah, I mean, there's nothing better than a Mike Trout home run. Like it's just something that it happens a lot, but it's great, and
It
it's good
doesn't
to see him.
like it happens a lot, but it doesn't happen as often as it maybe should because of
Right.
injuries and things. Like
Yeah,
when he,
so anytime we see him, it's just good.
yeah, just seeing him look healthy and happy and mashing on a baseball field is a great day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I actually missed that home run because I was at the bowling alley.
What?
Yeah,
The bowling
I
alley.
casually bowled a 106 in that game.
Nice.
Yeah, I broke 100 in the first game of the day. That's a big deal
Well
for me.
done.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to spin off a bowling podcast here starting next week. Just a heads up.
We're gonna also talk about Mookie Betts in that podcast.
Correct. That's pretty much the only guy we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah.
On the other side of it, though,
well, I was just going to
Corbin
say
Burns.
Trout has
Yeah.
kind of continued hitting well as well. I believe yesterday he hit 2 home runs, including one of them that went 473 feet. I believe you told me that he also stole a base yesterday.
Today,
He stole a base today. Something that he was
he had 2 in the
fantastic
last
at.
like 2 seasons combined.
Yeah, he was fantastic at it early in his career. He's so quick. Like 50 steals in 2012. Well, 49 steals in 2012, 33 in 2013. And it didn't drop below 20 until 2018. And then last year, 2 steals. The year before, 1. 2021, 2 steals. 2020, 1 steal. So, like, it just kind of went away. And all of that was kind of around the same time as back issues started coming up. But if he's stealing bases early, he's hitting a bunch of home runs. It feels like Mike Trout is healthy and feeling good right now. And we love to see it. Knocking on wood right now. Just in case you guys couldn't hear it or see it. Absolutely love it for him.
Totally agree. Could not have said it better. The guy who gave up that home run on domestic opening day, Corbin Burns, bum, goes out and basically, I don't think he gave up another hit the rest of the game. He did not. Yeah, he struck out 11. He was just dominant. He looked like the Cy Young version of Corbin Burns that we saw in 2021, who kind of sort of had a down year. It was by no means a bad season, but it wasn't that Cy Young version. And this guy seems like he might be back, and the vibes around the Orioles are just perfect. They're great. They've got new ownership. They spent more money over the offseason a little bit to go out and get Corbin Burns, an ace. They've got all this prospect capital waiting the minor leagues on the major league roster. We see Jordan Westburg on Monday hit a walk-off home run. Colton Cowser is getting a start today. Jackson Holliday's hitting bombs at AAA. He's probably not far from being promoted. So I don't know, like,
just a heads up, I have something to add immediately after Burns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just on the Orioles, like, everything's going right for this team. Like, they look like a team that's here to stay.
Yeah. The Brandon Hyde won, I believe he won Manager of the Year last year for the American League, correct?
Yep.
Like, this is a club that is gelling. They're young talent. It looks like they're here to stay. And Gunnar and Adley, they've got Jordan Westberg up on the roster right now. Colton Cowser's going to get a lot more time with, and it just feels like those guys are gelling really well with some of these kind of more veteran guys like Anthony Santander and Cedric Mullins. And then you throw in just a casual Cy Young guy who comes out and in the first game of the season gets 11 strikeouts, gives up 1 hit in 6 innings. Like, that's a huge confidence boost for a young team to start the season. So, and I believe they swept that series, didn't they?
I think they lost one.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, still, that's a huge deal for that team. Just coming out and putting a good foot forward and showing the rest of the division that last year wasn't a fluke.
Yeah.
They're here to do it again.
Off the field, though, the new ownership is huge because I think Mike Elias has been really hamstrung. Like, he's obviously done an insanely good job building up the team, but I was always worried with the Orioles that they would never supplement with free agents, and they never really had. They never signed a player more than like a 1-year deal, and now I think things are really going to change. And why can't they re-sign Corbin Burns? You know, like with new people in charge, we can only hope. Oh, there's one thing that I really wanted to mention about David Rubenstein, the principal owner of the Orioles now. He was on the broadcast on opening day, and he said, "You know, I don't know much about baseball," and that was like music to my ears because I love when owners say that and they admit that they're not an expert in baseball and they're going to leave it to their GM or they're going to leave it to their president of baseball operations. That's always a good thing because I think even the old Orioles owners were kind of like meddling with the baseball operations, and that almost never goes well, in my opinion.
Yeah, even if you're going to set a small budget, set the small budget and walk away. Yeah. Like, be an asshole and then just leave and let them figure it out. Right. But yeah, it did seem like the Angelos were making a lot of calls for that club. I mean, heck, they said very, very early on after Gunnar had come up that they weren't going to be able to re-sign more than one of their young stars 6 years down the road. The owners said that. That kind of is a telltale sign of owners meddling. Like,
definitely.
Whatever. So yeah, this is going to be a fun, interesting year for the Orioles to see kind of how things change, how they continue to grow, and just kind of see if there's an entire culture shift around just that team inside the organization to match the growing excitement outside the organization. So I'm actually going to chime in with something that literally just occurred 4 minutes ago. So the last couple games, Bryce Harper has not been off to a great start. 13 plate appearances in the last 3 games. He has not had a hit. He has taken maybe 2 walks. Just generally started slow. Well, tonight, he's gone off and hit 3 home runs, including a grand slam.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Bryce Harper it decided to quiet some people up on the slow start thing. And he is having himself a game. So I believe it is
game to go, right?
It is his second career 3 home run game.
What inning is it? Do you know?
I can check real quick, but I don't know off the top of my head.
I'll just add in one note while you're checking there on Corey Seager, another star that is doing star things. It's the 7th inning, so there's still a couple more innings for Harper to maybe get one more AB. On Seager, though, guy missed the whole spring training. He played in 2 games, the last 2 games of spring training, because he was recovering from a sports hernia surgery, and it didn't matter. Like, this is why spring training doesn't matter. He just shows up and immediately starts getting hits. In the second game of the year, he had a 4-hit game, and is Corey Seager somehow still underrated? I feel like he needs to be talked about as like a top 5 hitter in the league.
So I think the way that I'm going to respond to this is, remember 2019 Bryce Harper.
Yep.
Dude was, I mean, maybe 19, he wasn't as good as he'd been in the past, but the dude was still a top 10 hitter in the league. He has been his entire career since all the way back in 2011. He won the MVP in his second year, rookie of the year, and then MVP the next year.
I think MVP was 15, right?
Oh, was it 15? Okay, so
Yeah.
Anyway, rookie of the year, MVP, and then everyone kind of forgot about him. They just kind of said Bryce Harper's overrated. He's overrated. He sucks, whatever. And he was so overrated that everyone underrated him.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like Corey Seager right now.
Even though he's just coming off his second World Series MVP award.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the dude hasn't won a league MVP yet, so
yeah, just
clearly he's not
Shohei
that good.
Guy was in the way. Yeah, I think he's got a real shot at it with Shohei not in the league.
That's definitely going to change things a lot. Yeah. I do think this is maybe the only year that the National League has a shot of getting it to someone that's not named Shohei, because Shohei's not pitching. So
it's very true. Yeah, and Mookie's got himself a nice
lead.
Here. Yeah. All right, we're gonna switch gears here now, and we're gonna play a little game. And this is a level of concern on some major injuries that have already occurred in the opening week. We're gonna just rate them like on a concern for the team scale. So 0 would be like you're not concerned in the slightest about this injury, and 10 would be everything's on fire. This is gonna just kill our season. So we'll talk through these.
Okay, so from the team perspective.
From the team perspective. Okay. Yeah. Yep. So the first one is it's so sad because it represents like Royce Lewis's career in this one opening day game. First at bat hits a home run. Second at bat hits a double. And I don't remember. Was it when he was running on that double?
I have no idea.
He was running. He was just running to second base, and he just was hurt.
Did he just pull up lame?
Basically, yeah. And it was his calf, I believe, and he's going to be out for 1 to 2 months. So this is it's a big blow. Before I even rate it, I'm going to say Royce Lewis has been so good when he's actually played, but he's had now 2 ACL injuries. He's had a hamstring and I think another leg injury, and now he's got a calf injury, and it just doesn't seem to let up for the guy. So where do you rate this one for the Twins?
I think this is somewhere around a 7. It's a big deal. He's their starting third baseman, right?
Yep.
And that's a position that really they haven't had a great option at for a while. He comes up finally healthy at the very end of last year and shows just how good he is and how much he can help this team. They didn't go out and make a whole lot of moves in the offseason because they were kind of hands tied with the whole TV deal shenanigans. And so they were really relying on him. He goes down now for about a month or 2, and Austin Martin gets the call up. So he made his major league debut here the other day. But you're not getting the same type of player out of Austin Martin that you just lost for 2 months in Royce Lewis. Austin Martin has been an up and down prospect. He's ranked number 6 in the team right now, but I think at one point he was a top 10 prospect in the league. Or something kind of high, 30 maybe in the league. He's got a good hit tool. He's got solid speed. Not really a whole lot of power, which is kind of Royce Lewis's game, is power. So I don't know. I don't know that Austin Martin is going to be the guy that the Blue Jays thought that they got when they drafted him. Ended up trading him over with Simeon Woods Richardson and a couple other guys for, that was Barrios, right? That was the Barrios trade?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't think they have a great solution for him being down as long as he's going to be.
Yeah, they don't. I'm gonna jump in and say I think it's even worse than that. I think it's like a 9 because yeah, like you're saying, he's irreplaceable in the lineup at third base. I think they're going to try to use like Willie Castro there. That's not Royce Lewis, and just the whole lineup in general. I feel like just looks really lackluster without him in there. And um, I liked the Twins when they had Correa, Buxton, and Lewis in there, and now like you take one of those three guys out, it's like looking way, way, way worse to
The
me.
reason that I didn't go higher than a 7 is because I think with it still being early in the season and them being in the division they're in, it's not going to be an insurmountable hole.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm on board. Yeah. Justin Steele. Justin Steele
That
was
was an
pitching
unfortunate
great.
one to watch.
Yeah, it really was. Like guys pitching great on opening day, and it wasn't a pitching injury. It was a
Fielding a
running after the
bunt.
ball to field a bunt, and pulls his hamstring, and he's going to miss at least a month of April. And the Cubs lose their opening day ace. So
Yeah, that one's unfortunate for sure. They are a little bit lucky in the fact that Imanaga started out fairly hot. And so I do think from maybe what you would get from Steele, things are looking good that Imanaga is going to be able to perform here. Maybe not to the same level as Steele, but it doesn't make it quite as big of a deal whenever you try and backfill that rotation for a month, because that's what, 5 starts.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think it's the end of the world. This one I'd put it maybe a 6. It's a hamstring pull more than anything, like a hamstring strain, so it could be a much worse injury. It's not to his arm. I think he'll be fine when he comes back. I think it's just the first month you're just gonna have to fill some innings, and I mean, it's April anyway. Kind of expected
Yeah,
that.
so that's like the Cubs. The the silver lining is that the Cubs actually do have some pitching depth. I've talked about before, like, but they are now down 2 starters from the rotation. When you remember, Jameson Tyon's also injured right now. They're down 2 starters, so they're relying on guys like Javier Assad. Ben Brown got promoted; he's probably going to start a little bit. Drew Smiley, Hayden Wesneski. So they have guys. They're just obviously a notch below like a Steele who is the ace of the staff. Um,
Yeah.
they're gonna just have to like hold their ground in the early going. They have a really difficult schedule. Like they're playing the Dodgers this weekend and going on like a long West Coast road trip. So it's just about staying above water. I think at the beginning of the year, and wait for those guys to get healthy, get the rotation healthy, and they'll be okay probably. But they could also get sunk if it's really tough here in the first month of the year. But I'd say yeah, like a 6. Sean Murphy. He just swung his bat and pulled his oblique. That happens. So he's going to be out for probably. I
6
don't. I
weeks.
didn't see a timetable, but probably like 4 to 6 weeks.
I was
That's
gonna
like
say I think
typical for an oblique
that's
injury.
typically 4 to 6.
Yeah.
Let's see. Diagnosed with a grade 1 left oblique strain. And then it just says 10-day IL. So, this is the Braves we're talking about.
Yeah.
So really, I think it's probably somewhere closer to like a 3.
Yeah.
That's not great. I won't lie. To be down your starting catcher who's been working all spring with your starting staff. And who's their backup cat? Travis d'Arnaud, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're in a good spot because he's a good player.
Yeah. So really, I don't think this one's all that bad. It sucks for sure.
It sucks for him.
Sucks.
It sucks for the team, obviously, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's not
This
gonna
is
sink the
probably the
Braves by no
most
means.
stomachable of the injuries that we were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree.
Just from a depth and the rest of the lineup around him. they'll be able to pick up what they're losing in him.
Yeah.
So.
I know this is like sort of negative, but like I would be very concerned if Travis Darno were to get injured again. The guy's had like 4 concussions, a bunch of like other injuries too, and he's 35 and he's a catcher. So if he goes down, then you're relying on like Chadwick Trump and whoever their
Don't
AAA
you
catcher is.
don't you talk bad about Chadwick Trump.
I didn't talk bad about him. I just said he would have to catch
You
for
said
the
then you're
Braves.
settling for like Chadwick Trump. You're not settling for him. He is the secret weapon. You keep him on the bench and you don't throw him out there unless you have to, or it's time.
It might be Trump time.
Might be Trump time.
Okay, yeah. So I think we agreed that that one's a little less of a concern right now for Sean Murphy and the Braves. Um, and the last one that we're going to talk about here is Josh Young, who broke his wrist on a hit by pitch, which sucks.
This is the one that makes me the saddest. Like it's the most freak accident out of all of them.
Yeah.
It's now the second year in a row that he has broke something in his hand on a hit by pitch and has missed significant time for it. He's going to be out
6 weeks.
6 weeks. He's one of their better hitters, like over in Texas. Like they do have a pretty good lineup with some good players in there. Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, who's been an absolute monster so far. Dude looks like 2003 Barry Bonds now. Like he's big.
I think he was working out with Randy. Have you seen Randy recently?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Rangers team has a lot of talented hitters, young guys like Evan Carter, like Wyatt Langford, who has come up and debuted. They're promoting another one of their young guys who I was actually trying to figure out how they were even going to get in the lineup this year, in Justin Foscue. So he hasn't debuted yet, has he?
He has not.
Okay. So he's a really good prospect. For any of you that don't know who Justin Foscue is, I don't think he's quite a Josh Young. He's more of a second baseman primarily, but
no. So I guess the thing about Foscue is that people think he's ready with the bat, but they don't think that he's good at any position. He's played some first, he's played some second, he's played some third. He's not really known for his defense.
Well, that is unfortunate.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, his prospect grade fielding is a 30. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's a situation where they stick Foscue at first, maybe, and then they let Ezekiel Duran play third, something like that. Because I don't know if they're going to want to play Foscue at third right away.
That's fair. So between Duran and Josh Smith, they probably do have like a defensive third baseman figured out.
Yep.
I think Foscue is there as more of a replacement for the bat because Jared Walsh and Josh Smith are not a replacement for Josh Young at the plate. Like,
correct.
Both solid players in their own right, but they're nothing special. And Josh Young kind of is one of those special players when he's on the field. So, yeah, I could actually see that, especially kind of looking at how roster resources expecting it right now with Duran and Foscue being platooned with Josh Smith and Jared Walsh.
Okay.
So, that kind of checks out.
Mix and match a little bit, and they're going to be fine, though. Like, the lineup is incredible. They're not going to suffer that much.
And they showed last season that they can actually overcome Josh Young being out with the broken hand because they did it and went to the World Series and won it without him. So
no, he came back. He was awesome in the playoffs.
They made it to the playoffs as the number 1 seed. Right? Number 1? Number 2?
I don't recall.
I think
they were a wild card. The Astros won the division.
Oh yeah. Oh, they did kind of struggle without him, then, didn't they?
They sort of did at the end of the year, and then he came back, and he was playing at the end of the year, and he was really struggling with that thumb injury still. And then once the playoffs hit, he seemed to be back to normal. He was great in the postseason World Series and everything.
So he was hustling them.
He might have been.
I see. The classic hustle move. Yeah, I can't do it.
My thumb hurts.
Throw the dart. Oh my God, I hit the bartender with the dart. Oops. And then all of a sudden, barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
That was a Ted Lasso reference for those of you that didn't get it.
All right. So, yeah, those are the injuries.
So I'd say 4.
4. Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm with you. 4
little higher than Sean Murphy, but not.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
It's early season. Maybe that's like the good news about all the injuries is that these guys can all come back relatively soon, and the teams will be okay.
I mean, most of these guys will still be back before Garrett Cole, so
fair point. In the meanwhile, we got some rookies to talk about, like Jared Jones, who debuted with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I think he might already be the best pitcher on the team. And he's literally made one start in his career. The guy was unreal. He struck out 10 in like 5 1/3. He's got like a 99-mile-per-hour fastball, crazy slider, full pitch mix. He's great.
Are you hating on Mitch Keller again after Mitch Keller breakout season?
Yeah, I'm hating on him again. I think so. My problem with Mitch Keller is that I think he's pretty good, but then he'll just have these bad starts, and he's so inconsistent with his performance.
You ever watch baseball? That's how that works.
Yeah, but he's like
more so than everyone. He's a little bit in the less talented, but the Snell sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I get it, but yeah, it kind of.
Dude, blows. You got to go see an Indianapolis game and see if you can go see Paul Skeens before he gets promoted.
Yeah. So it's not going to be too long, is it?
Yeah, you really got to go,
dude. So Memphis plays them this week, actually starting tomorrow, but I'm leaving at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you're going to be gone all week.
So I'm going to miss Memphis being here because Sonny Gray is going to be starting. Lance Nootbaar is going to be starting down there tomorrow. So tomorrow's the perfect day to go. And it's probably Skeens bump day too.
Yeah, probably.
Dang. Well, I guess yesterday when you guys hear this, but for Gowie and I right now, tomorrow. Yeah.
So other debuts, Wyatt Langford, who you mentioned earlier, he made the team out of spring training. Another guy that's kind of got some defensive home questions, but guy can clearly hit if he's making the roster right out of spring training as their DH in that stacked lineup. He looks very comfortable at the plate, working fantastic at bats. I don't know, like the guy just looks like he's going to be a mainstay superstar hitter for the next decade. He just looks that good to me.
He hasn't hit a home run yet, so he's kind of washed, in my opinion.
He's washed.
No, watching him hit against the Cubs on opening day. He wasn't able to like crack through and get like a phenomenal day on his first day, but he did get his first hit. He took a walk, got his first RBI.
No, he didn't have it.
I think he didn't he take a bases loaded walk?
No, I don't think so.
Am I thinking?
But he had a good series regardless. He had hits, I think, in each game.
Yeah, he just hasn't got that first big hit yet. And I think with Wyatt Langford, that's what people are waiting for. That's kind of what they expect from him, is that big, massive home run. Oh, shoot. Who's that other catcher in the Rangers system? It's just got
Sam Huff.
Yeah, Sam Huff style, where they're thinking he's going to hit it about 584 feet for his first home run. So,
yeah, this is a bit of a tangent, but Evan Carter, another rookie sensation for the Rangers.
Correct.
He doesn't have one hit this season,
Really?
yet he leads the team in runs scored because he's just so good at getting on base. And that to me is like such a good skill to have. Even when you're not hitting, you're getting on base, you're scoring runs and stealing bases. Like that team is just in good hands right now. What's going on over there?
Mookie's sitting on top of some video games,
Ah,
messing with
I love
baseball
sitting on
cards in
video
boxes.
games.
She wanted to be on the podcast tonight. Yeah, Wyatt Langford has been kind of fun to watch. I have not actually watched Jackson Chourio yet. How's he been doing?
He's been doing great. They put him right in the leadoff spot on opening day at the recommendation of Christian Yelich, and he got a couple hits. He's got an OPS over 1,000 so far. He hasn't really hit any homers or anything, but he's getting a lot of hits so far, doing what he needs to do. And another guy that just seems like he was ready. It wasn't like they pushed him too fast. I was kind of worried about that a little bit, but he's going to be here to stay. I would anticipate.
Did he get involved in the brouhaha? Or because he's so much younger than everyone else, did he just like stay back?
I think he might have stayed out of it. And speaking of that brouhaha, the Mets and the Brewers kind of got into it with Rhys Hoskins sliding into Jeff McNeil at second base. You watch the play, right?
No, actually I haven't.
Yeah, so he slides like to the side of the base, but his spikes are basically down, but he does go into McNeil's leg. And McNeil got really upset about it. I didn't personally think it was an illegal slide or anything. I think McNeil overreacted to the situation.
That's what I've heard a lot, is people think McNeil has overreacted to it. Also, am I making this up, or hasn't Jeff McNeil had some questionable slides in the past?
He probably has, yeah.
Because I feel like there was a big brouhaha with him a couple years ago sliding.
I think he likes to pick fights.
It's kind of what it is feeling like. But then I do know that over the next, 8 innings, the Mets have decided that they were going to take matters into their own hands. They threw behind Rhys once.
I think it was the next game.
Oh, it was the next game? Oh,
yeah, so Hoskins hit a homer in the next game. And
in his first at bat.
Then they took matters into their own hands and tried to throw at him.
Yeah, so they threw behind him. I think they hit him twice. And then something else. But a couple people ended up getting ejected. Benches cleared, I think, in the 3rd or 4th inning, maybe. And then there's been a couple of different suspensions since then, including for I
don't recall the name of the pitcher.
So they said Genesis Cabrera, but that doesn't make sense because
that was a separate fight.
But I thought Genesis Cabrera was. Oh, okay. I didn't realize there was a fight over there. Because I thought it said Brewers pitcher Genesis Cabrera, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Okay, so you'll have to explain that to me later then. Shoot, what's the Mets' new Carlos
Mendoza?
Carlos Mendoza. He got suspended for a game. The pitcher got suspended for 3. There were a couple other folks that got suspended as well for a game apiece, I thought.
I don't know about that, but I don't.
Or maybe I'm conflating the Race Jace one with it.
Yeah, that was like a weird one where I don't know exactly what happened, but Genesis Cabrera pushed some guy on the Rays. I think it might have been Jose Caballero. I don't know who it was, actually.
Yes, Caballero.
And he got suspended for like 3 games. I think the suspension got reduced today to 2. But it's I don't know. It's funny. Baseball fights are the funniest because rarely anything really happens. They just seem to all run out to the field. And,
everybody thinks it's going to be Nolan Ryan versus Robin Ventura.
It never is.
Never is.
Yeah. At least last year, I mean, there was a real fight, right?
The ones that get
OJ.
interesting are the ones that happen in the dugout between your own team. Bryson Hunter Strickland, Frankie Lindor, and that raccoon or whatever it was.
McNeil.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Papelbon and was
Bryce
that Bryce Harper also?
Yeah, because that's the one where he threw his helmet at him and charged the mound, right?
No, I thought they were teammates.
Oh, Strickland was the one where he threw his helmet. Yeah.
Yeah,
because Strickland was on the Giants at the time.
Giants, yeah.
And hit Bryce. Bryce charged the mound. This is back in like 2013 or 14. But yeah. And then they became teammates later. Yeah. Oh, good stuff. Oh, Lance Lynn and Joe McEwing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm more of a ribeye and baked potato, and he's a filet and something.
What Chris Sale did to those throwback jerseys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big fight.
Yeah. Blades came out in that one.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. So
I think we
beyond
got
the fighting,
off topic.
We got a little off topic. That's all right. We'll get back on topic here and talk about probably the most surprising thing that's happened this season, and that was the no-hitter by Ronel Blanco yesterday. Who's Ronel Blanco? I can barely tell you. I did know who he was before the start, but I would venture to guess that very few people knew who this guy was. And that's what makes it cool, right? That's a thing that only I feel like happens in baseball, where these random people can go and have one of like the best pitching games.
It's like when was it Tyler Gilbert for Arizona?
Yeah. Like no one heard from the guy again. I mean, that could happen with Ronel Blanco here.
Well, and that was his first major league start too, when he did it.
Was it his first?
It was his first start. He had pitched out of the bullpen, but that was his first start, and he threw a no-hitter. Ronel Blanco had only pitched in 8 games in his career. Or I think this was number 8. He pitched
more, so this was his 8th start.
8th start, okay.
Yep.
8th start in his career, 106 pitches, if I recall correctly. 105 pitches. And I watched the last 4 innings. He looked really good.
Yeah.
Like really good.
Yeah, so like I'll tell you what I knew about Ronel Blanco before this start. I knew that he was really good at missing bats. I knew that he had struck out 10 batters in his last spring training start on the same day that his daughter was born, which is kind of cool. And he's a guy that wouldn't have even made the roster if it wasn't for injuries to Urquidy and Justin Verlander. I knew that he has obviously some talent, and he's been on the Astros team for bits and pieces the last couple of years. But this is a guy that had never pitched like into the 6th inning but one time in his entire professional career. And he goes out and pitches a 9-inning complete game no-hitter. It's like the most remarkable thing ever.
Yeah, he did end up giving up 2 walks, I think they're both in the 9th inning, right?
No, he walked the first batter of the game, and then he walked a batter right in the 9th inning with 2 outs. And then the thing that was surprising is that he's normally like a fastball slider guy. And in this game, he started throwing changeups. And I think that's what really threw off the Blue Jays, because he threw like 35 changeups in this game, which is unusual for him. So maybe that wasn't part of their scouting report. They didn't even know he had a changeup, and he used that pitch more than any other pitch. And they were just totally off their game, because it's not like he did it against the A's either. The Blue Jays are a legitimately like top tier offense, and he dominated them. So
yeah.
All right. We got lots of other things left on the rundown. Do you want to go through them like quick, or do you want to call it a day?
There's a couple specific ones here that I kind of want to hit on.
Okay.
So Pirates.
Pirates. We got to do this song and dance again. So
We have to.
last year, I think it happens like every other year. It feels like the Pirates always get off to hot starts, and people are getting sort of hyped, and then they crash down to earth. They crash hard,
But they
and
have
this
reasons to
definitely
be hyped. That's the
they
problem.
have reasons to be hyped. So, are you kind of buying into the hype this year? And can the Pirates actually like stay competitive deep into this season? Because they've started the season now 5-0.
Well, based on the fact that they just acquired Joey Bart, I'm gonna go all out.
Oh man.
That they right now, I got the notey that they just acquired Joey Bart, who
Okay.
was DFA'd by the Giants here this week. I'm gonna be. I'm trying to remember. I think I was fairly decent on the Pirates last year, right?
What do you mean fairly decent?
Like I
you
think
were
I
in
think
on
I
them?
thought they were gonna be like a 500-ish team, right?
I thought we were both completely out. Like at this
Were we?
juncture of the season, we were both like, "This is not going to last." They suck, and they did.
Okay, yeah, that checks out. Uh, I'm going to be a little higher on them than that. I'm going to set an absolute tops limit at 81 wins. I don't think they're going over that, but I think they could get close to that 81 win 500 mark by the end of the season. We've seen it happen where they start hot, they cool off, and just that much young talent and that much like aged talent that they're just hoping to flip later doesn't always, it doesn't really gel. It doesn't really pan out. So I'm gonna venture that they're gonna have that happen again, but they do have enough more young talent for me to be more confident than last year.
I agree. I totally agree. And we talked about Skeens, and we talked about Jared Jones. I think those two guys alone, those are like the two best pitching prospects in the entire division, and they could be playing a big role on this team.
And then if
And
you
they've got
see, you got O'Neal Cruz back.
you got
If
O'Neal,
you get some
O'Neal
more
Cruz.
development out of Henry Davis, Nick Gonzalez, Andy Rodriguez is out, right?
He's out for the year.
There's another
Guys like-
infielder. Who am I thinking?
Yeah, Jared Triolo,
Yes.
another young player, and then I think that Key Brian Hayes is going to put it all together this year and be a
Probably over
superstar.
Peguero.
Yeah, he's in the minors to start, but yeah, he's another guy that's very interesting. Brian Reynolds is a borderline star player.
Sawinski has
good.
massive amounts of power.
Yeah, so they can be
And they have
competent. I
Yasmani.
don't.
They have a
They've got
legit catcher.
Yasmani. Yeah,
Like he's a legit catcher. He's the fastest man in the major leagues.
fastest man.
He made Yachty look fast.
I think that the Pirates are just they're not deficient in any areas like they have been in the past. Their pitching's not like amazing or anything, but it's okay. It's somewhere in the middle of the pack, and that can get you to 81 wins. That's possible.
But outside of Brian Reynolds, they also don't have anybody that you look at and go, I know what I'm going to get from you this year, plus or minus 10%.
Is that true? Yeah, maybe Connor Joe.
I mean, Connor Joe's like
It's a
floor and
lower
ceiling
level.
are not too far apart either.
It's pretty low. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I don't want to say I'm in on this team. I think I'm more in on this team than I am on Milwaukee this year, which is something that I've also said for years and years and years and years and years, and it's never
But we're
worked out.
always wrong. Yeah.
But this year, I think I'm right.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
We'll hold you to
confident
it.
in that.
Okay.
But I'm going to need you to tell me how DL Hall did in his first start before I like fully
DL
cement that.
Hall was like very disappointing, actually.
Okay, so yeah, I'm right. Cool.
I was like big in on DL Hall, and he comes out and was only throwing like 92 and really struggled with some stuff. I mean, it wasn't like the worst start ever, but it wasn't like what I was expecting. So it's a wait and see for right now.
All right. Although Garrett Crochet
killing it.
He's
I
the
saw
new
it.
he's the new starter for the White Sox. A team that really doesn't have a whole lot of bright spots right now. Like their offseason
Luis Robert
acquisitions.
and Crochet.
Yeah, it's really those two. Like before 3 weeks ago, I would have said Luis Robert, Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
If Crochet can continue to pitch the way that he did in his first start, they're gonna be happy with his development there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking at the scores right now, but right before we started recording, he was literally pitching a no hitter into like the 5th inning against the Braves.
Oh,
Yeah. So I don't know how that's going right now, but this is very promising for the White Sox if they found did they just find an ace starter? Maybe. But he's also a guy that hasn't started since he was legitimately in like college. He has never started a professional game until he started on an opening day, and he goes out and dominates. So
okay. Line is final for Crochet.
what do we got?
7 innings,
Wow.
3 hits,
No runs.
1 run, 1 walk. And that 1 run was a Marcell Ozuna 7th inning home run.
Wow. Nice. Yeah, so that's
Paul DeYoung also homered.
How did Reynaldo do?
6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks.
Wow, he killed it as well.
Although Crochet won the strikeout battle with 8. Reynaldo had 5.
That's like all I need to see. If you do that against the Braves, you're probably pretty legit. And now he's done it back-to-back starts. Like, I think the biggest thing is going to be seeing how they manage his innings, because he's clearly not going to be like going out and pitching like 180 innings this season or something, because he's never started as a pro. But yeah, that's cool. There's actually something to watch for the White Sox now.
Yeah. Every 5 days.
Every 5 days.
Just watch the Cubs the other 4.
Yeah.
Or pick a good team that's not one of those
Hey,
two. But
Cubs are up 10-0, man.
Who are they playing?
Oh, the Rockies.
Yeah, my point exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, so that is our recap here of some of the stuff going on at opening day, opening week. It's great that we can actually talk about real stuff that's going on instead of just getting ready for the season. So
I'm not going to lie, I didn't know what to do with this episode because I've only been doing previews, and I'm like, I don't have anything else to preview. I've done it.
Exactly.
So
yeah, looking forward to the season to come. It's going to be lots of fun. And thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time.
Let them fly.
If you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcasting app and YouTube to make sure you don't miss any future episodes. Join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Getaway Day Pod. If you enjoy card collecting, check out our sister YouTube channel at Getaway Day Cards.